You're not late, you're not lost. You are precisely where you need to be to embark on the next phase of your journey. Imagine awakening from a dream so vivid it feels like reality, only to discover that the waking world you knew was the real illusion. What emotions would you feel if you learned that death isn't a finale, but a new beginning? And if you're still here, diving deep with me, let's make it official. You've got 5 seconds to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Comment 100% if you're done. Let's keep this journey going. I understand this idea may seem odd, even unsettling. We are, after all, conditioned to be afraid of the unknown. But what if I told you that ancient faiths, brilliant thinkers, and countless near-death accounts all point to the same truth? Death doesn't snuff out the flame of consciousness, it merely frees it. In the moments to come, you will grasp why this perspective can forever alter how you see life, handle sorrow, and make your own decisions. On the spiritual plane, every step is fueled by a profound urge to evolve, to amplify one's inner light. Death, in this context, is not a final stop, but a comma in a vast story that unfolds over many lifetimes. When a soul departs the physical body, it enters a transitional realm, a kind of cosmic waiting room where awareness gradually adjusts to a new reality. Here, time as we know it ceases to exist. Worries, fears, and attachment to worldly possessions are released, though this isn't always immediate. Each soul navigates this process based on its level of spiritual development and comprehension. It is in this initial period that key choices emerge, reviewing the life just lived, reconnecting with spiritual mentors, and planning future steps. Nothing is forced, freedom is absolute. The soul decides what it needs to continue its path of growth. Understanding this truth transforms everything. It gives every moment new significance. The ache of loss becomes softer, guilt fades, and the fear of death that so often paralyzes us is replaced by a deep reverence for existence itself. Many people assume that at the moment of death, all problems are magically solved. But the truth is that the soul's awakening on the spiritual plane is a time of deep reflection, and it is not always easy. The main issue is that many souls feel disoriented upon arriving on the other side. Some get stuck in old patterns, the grudges, guilt, and attachments they carried from their physical lives. Others don't truly understand what they need to learn next to keep progressing. This creates a kind of spiritual haze, leaving the soul feeling confused and stuck. Picture waking up from an intense dream, unsure of your surroundings. That's the experience for many souls. This is why a crucial process known as the life review exists. During this phase, the soul, with assistance from spiritual mentors, beings of immense wisdom and compassion, revisits the life just completed. The purpose is not to be judged, but to gain insight. What occurs is a loving and honest examination. What was experienced, what was learned, what could have been handled differently. It is like watching a film of your own life, feeling, not just seeing, the ripple effect of every thought, every action, and every choice. This moment of reflection is deeply liberating. It is when the soul clearly sees its own limitations and potential, and the lessons it still needs to master. With this clarity, it can then begin to plan its next steps. Knowing that this life film awaits us can be a powerful incentive to live more mindfully today. Every word we speak, every act of kindness or apathy, every choice of bravery or fear, it all matters, and it all echoes beyond the physical world. Don't wait for the spiritual plane to reflect on your life. Take a moment now. Ask yourself, if I were to watch the movie of my life today, how would I feel? Let this question serve as your compass, guiding your future actions. At the end of the life review, when the soul, and here's a major misconception, we imagine the soul plans a perfect life free of pain and challenges. In reality, the opposite is true. The soul's growth happens through experience, and the most transformative experiences often involve pain, struggle, forgiveness, and unconditional love. This is the central idea. The soul chooses its missions based on what it still needs to resolve, learn, or strengthen. For instance, if a soul developed great intellect in a past life but neglected compassion, it might choose a life where it must connect more deeply with human emotions. If pride was an issue, it might take on a mission of humility. If there was fear, it might face a test of courage. What determines the next mission is not an external punishment. It is a loving decision made from within the soul itself, with support from its spiritual guides. They help the soul see the best possible paths, but the ultimate decision is always free. When you feel a powerful calling, that dream that persists within you, that recurring challenge, that pain that seems meaningless, pay attention. None of this is random. These are clues about the mission your soul embraced before you were born, and more. Many of your deepest fears also contain the seeds of your mission. The fear of rejection, of failure, of being vulnerable often points directly to the area the soul came to learn to liberate itself in. Now, consider this. Why were you born precisely where you were born? Why into a specific family with those unique traits, those particular difficulties, and those affections? When we speak of choosing parents, we are talking about one of the most crucial decisions a soul makes before reincarnating. Nothing is random, even in the most difficult situations, where there is rejection, abandonment, or suffering. There is a profound purpose. But when we look at it solely through a material lens, we often judge our families as too flawed, too troubled, or too different from our ideal. Yet, from the soul's perspective, what matters is not comfort, but growth. The soul selects the parents who provide exactly the necessary conditions to experience what it needs. Sometimes this means being born into a home full of love and support to learn about trust, joy, and self-worth. Other times it means incarnating into a dysfunctional or challenging family to practice resilience, compassion, self-forgiveness, or even to break inherited cycles of pain. This choice is neither arbitrary nor forced. The soul, with its spiritual guides, assesses various possibilities before deciding. It senses the energy of the future parents, their tendencies, their karmas, and their potential for growth. It weighs the environment it will grow up in, the values it will absorb, and the hardships it will face. Many souls even forge pre-birth agreements, sacred pacts with other souls who commit to playing important roles: father, mother, siblings, grandparents. These souls may already know each other from past lives, with deep ties of love or mutual debts of learning. Start viewing your family as a part of your growth plan. Even if there are hurts, wounds, or divisions, there is also a hidden opportunity. Ask yourself, what did I need to learn by living in this specific family? Perhaps it is forgiveness, perhaps acceptance, or perhaps the challenge of forging a new path. Let go of the victim role and embrace your role as the spiritual protagonist of your own life. Understand that your soul, in all its wisdom, chose your parents, knowing exactly what would be needed for you to thrive. Acknowledge the sacredness of your own story. Honor the place you came from, not out of obligation, but out of awareness. This act unlocks immense inner strength and connects you even more to your true purpose. Have you ever considered why you were born in this specific country, this culture, at this particular point in history? None of it is a coincidence. Every aspect of your living environment was carefully chosen by your soul before you reincarnated. As they go through their daily lives, many people feel trapped in harsh realities. Poverty, violence, injustice, or even places where values seem inverted. In the face of these challenges, it's easy to believe the world is simply an unfair and meaningless place. But when we look through the eyes of the soul, we see something entirely different. Culture, country, and era are all backdrops for learning. The soul chooses its environment as part of the script it helped to write. If it needs to learn compassion, it may be born in a place where pain is visible, where it will be called to take action. If it needs to work on courage, it might come into a time of great change. If it needs to develop creativity and adaptability, it might choose a culture rich in diversity, but limited in resources. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is random. The time you were born also serves a specific function. Each generation has a collective mission to transform old patterns, heal wounds, and pave new roads. You are a part of this. Your soul chose to live now because it knew this would be the ideal time to develop your full potential. When you understand that your environment is not a mistake, but part of your soul's plan, something inside you shifts. You start to see opportunities where before you only saw limitations. Do you feel you were born in a country in turmoil? Perhaps your mission is to help build something new. Were you born into a rigid traditional culture? Perhaps your soul came to challenge norms and open minds. Are you living in a time of inner and outer conflict? Perhaps your purpose is to be a source of peace amidst the chaos. You are not in the wrong place. You are an active participant in a grander design. Your presence here, right now, makes all the difference. And what about free will? If everything has already been chosen by the soul, do I still have a choice? This is one of the most potent and empowering questions we can ask. Because yes, before you were born, your soul outlined a plan. It marked the challenges, the opportunities, and the significant encounters. But this does not mean everything is set in stone. Many people who discover a spiritual plan believe they are simply passengers in life, bound by an inescapable fate. This is not true. Free will is real, and it is sovereign. The soul's plan is like a rough map. It shows possible routes, alternative paths, and opportunities. But the person holding the compass and deciding which trail to follow is you. Understand that with every conscious choice you make, you are realigning your path with your soul's greater design. There is no such thing as permanently going off course. Even choices that seem to lead you away from your purpose will eventually serve as material for your learning. Therefore, the message is clear. Take ownership of your life. Stop waiting for things to happen as if they were destined, and start actively co-creating with your spiritual plan. Sometimes alignment requires the courage to leave a toxic relationship, change careers, forgive those who have hurt you, or simply say yes to a calling from the heart. Other times, it requires the patience to respect life's timing. And remember, your free will is not a burden. It is a gift. It is what makes every victory, every triumph, and every act of love so much more powerful. Your soul trusts you. Now it's your turn to trust your ability to choose and build a life that honors who you truly are. Some encounters carry an energy you can feel in your very bones. It's as if time momentarily stops, as if the entire universe whispers, "Pay attention." These meetings are not random, they are reunions of souls. In the fast-paced world we live in, people often overlook these deep connections, or mistake them for passing infatuations. This can cause bonds that could be genuine portals for growth to be lost or squandered. Before they incarnate, souls who share deep connections of love, friendship, mission, or partnership agree to meet again in the physical world. These are the so-called soulmates, or soul companions. The soul recognizes its future soulmate not with physical eyes, but through energy. It's an intense feeling of familiarity, an inexplicable magnetism, sometimes a profound sense of peace, other times a storm that upends your life to force you to grow. The recognition is subtle yet powerful, a gaze that seems to peer into the depths of your being, a conversation that flows as if picking up where it left off, a feeling of, "I know you from somewhere," even with no logical reason. But be warned, recognizing a soulmate does not mean the relationship will always be easy. On the contrary, these connections often bring intense challenges, precisely because they were arranged to awaken the parts of you that need to be healed, freed, or strengthened. How do you apply this in your life? The first step is to be mindful. Not every intense connection is a soul reunion, and not every soulmate is meant to stay forever. Some come to teach, to help you complete a stage, to ignite your awakening. When you feel you've met someone like this, ask yourself, does this person help me become who I truly am? Does this connection challenge me to grow, even if it sometimes hurts? If the answer is yes, it's very likely you are encountering a soul that was part of your life plan. Open your heart, but remain aware. Value these sacred connections, but also respect the timing and space of each one. Sometimes loving deeply means walking a path together. Other times, it means knowing when to let go. Not every passionate love is with a soulmate, nor is every deep friendship simply a friendship. On the spiritual plane, connections are far more varied and profound than we usually imagine. The problem is that many people spend their lives searching for the perfect soulmate, believing that only they can bring happiness, completeness, and meaning. This unrealistic expectation often leads to frustration because it ignores the complexity of the spiritual contracts that exist between souls. There are different kinds of spiritual connections, each with a specific purpose for your growth. Soulmates are spirits who share a deep and timeless bond, as if they are two sparks from the same flame, vibrating at the same frequency. They meet across many lifetimes to help each other evolve. The encounter with a soulmate is powerful. It can be romantic, but it can also be a friendship or a professional partnership. This bond brings an overwhelming sense of recognition, as if time and space no longer matter. But remember, soulmates don't come to save you. They come to awaken who you truly are. Soul companions are those who walk with you during specific phases of your journey. They might be friends, family, co-workers, or mentors. They are souls who love you and have chosen to support your growth, but not necessarily through dramatic emotional upheavals. These relationships are often gentler, but just as sacred. They teach trust, loyalty, and patience. Before reincarnating, you also form spiritual contracts with many souls. These are agreements based on love and a commitment to evolution. You might promise, for example, to help a soul learn about self-worth, and they, in turn, promise to help you with forgiveness. Some of these contracts involve joyful, transformative encounters, while others involve deep challenges, betrayals, abandonments, and loss. All of this, no matter how difficult it seems, serves a higher purpose. Instead of desperately seeking the ideal soulmate, celebrate all the souls that cross your path. Each one carries a gift for you, even if it is wrapped in pain or a challenge. You have never been, and will never be, alone. From the moment your soul decided to reincarnate, a team of love and wisdom was assigned to accompany your every step, your spiritual guides. Living in the haste of the physical world, many people forget or doubt this constant presence. They believe they have to bear every burden on their own, not realizing that help and guidance are always just a whisper away. Spiritual guides are more advanced consciousnesses who commit to guiding, protecting, and inspiring you during your life on Earth. They don't control your choices. They fully respect your free will. Instead, they offer signs, intuitions, and support so you can align with your soul's plan. How do they act in practice? Through sudden intuitions, that inner voice telling you, go this way, or don't do that, for no obvious reason. Through external signs, a song playing at the perfect time, a phrase that stands out from a book, a coincidence that feels magical. Through dreams, vivid encounters where you feel profound peace or receive subtle messages. Through people who cross your path, sometimes your guides use others as instruments to deliver a message or open a door. They also often protect you from unseen dangers, steering your path away from situations that are no longer part of your learning. Communicating with your guides is a subtle art. Moments of silence, meditation, or connecting with nature help strengthen this bond. Expressing gratitude to your guides, even without seeing immediate results, reinforces the relationship and makes you more receptive to their wisdom. For centuries, the concept of karma has been misinterpreted as a form of cosmic punishment, a way to pay for past wrongdoings. This has fueled fear, guilt, and a feeling of powerlessness over one's own life. But the truth is much more liberating. Karma is simply the universal law of cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action generates an energy that will, sooner or later, return to us. Not as a punishment, but as an opportunity for balance and learning. Reincarnation is the perfect mechanism the soul uses to harmonize these energies over many lives. The soul adjusts its actions, choices, and lessons, always striving to evolve toward love, wisdom, and freedom. Some simple examples to understand karma in action. If in a past life you misused power, you may choose in this life to learn about responsibility and humility. If you caused emotional pain to someone, you may have experiences that awaken your empathy and respect for the feelings of others. If you practiced forgiveness and compassion, you will attract lighter, more harmonious situations and relationships. Karma is not a rigid sentence. You have free will at every moment to create new, positive karma, dissolve old patterns, and shape your destiny. When you act with awareness, love, and responsibility, you are planting seeds of light that will blossom in this life or the next. Every time you face a challenge, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" I ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift in perspective moves you from being a victim to being a co-creator of your spiritual journey. Great souls choose great challenges. When we witness or experience extreme suffering, illnesses, severe poverty, war, or irreversible loss, Our natural reaction is to think, this is unfair, this is punishment. But when we see things through the eyes of the soul, the perspective changes entirely. Some souls choose incredibly difficult lives to fast-track their spiritual growth, balance old karma, or help in the collective evolution of humanity. They come into the world with a mission to bring light to places of pain, awaken dormant hearts, and teach about compassion, strength, forgiveness, and resilience. Before incarnating, these souls know it will be hard. They see the life plan, the losses, the obstacles, and the scars, yet they still say yes. Why? Because they feel that through this experience, they can expand their light in a profound and powerful way. Souls born with severe disabilities often teach those around them deep lessons about acceptance, unconditional love, and respect. Souls facing terminal illnesses often awaken sensitivity and compassion in their families and communities. Souls living in war zones often carry powerful messages about the need for peace, justice, and reconciliation. How does this change things? It changes everything. It changes how we view pain, both our own and others. It changes the snap judgments we make about those living through difficult circumstances. It changes how we interpret our own suffering. When you understand that life's hardships can be courageous choices made by the soul, you begin to feel a deep respect, not just for your own story, but for the story of everyone around you. The souls who choose the hardest paths are often the ones who expand their light the fastest. They are not victims, they are spiritual warriors. And if you are facing deep challenges today, know this: your soul is greater than any pain. You are stronger than you think. You did not come into this world merely to survive. You came to live with a purpose, and your soul knows exactly what that purpose is. But in the rush of daily life, amidst duties, fears, and distractions, many people lose touch with this fundamental truth. The problem is that living without a sense of purpose leads to emptiness and frustration, the feeling of being lost even when everything on the surface seems fine. Your life's purpose is not something you have to invent. It already exists, etched into the very essence of your soul. Connecting with it is a process of remembering, waking up, and rediscovering. So, how do you do it? Your soul has left clues everywhere. In your passions, your childhood dreams, the pains that hurt the most, and the talents that shine even when you try to hide them. Reconnecting with your purpose is not a luxury, it is a spiritual necessity. Look at your life with all its beauty, its pains, its highs, and its lows, and accept this truth. You are exactly where you are meant to be. It doesn't matter if the path was tougher than you had planned. It doesn't matter if you stumbled, got lost, and started over 1,000 times. Every step, every choice, every tear, and every smile was necessary to bring you here, to this moment of awareness and awakening. The human mind loves to compare. It tells you you're late, that you haven't accomplished enough, that you should be somewhere else. But the soul knows better. The soul recognizes that everything blossoms at the perfect time. There are no delays in the universe, no unforgivable mistakes. There are only paths, detours, reunions, and endless chances to begin again. If right now you feel the calling to align your life with your purpose, know this: that calling is already the first step. The universe does not demand perfection from you. It only asks for sincerity, courage, and a willingness to grow. Trust your path, even when you can't see the next step. Your soul can. Trust it. Accept your past. Everything that happened, even what hurt, was raw material for your evolution. Be grateful for it, and then let it go. Honor your present. Today is a sacred gift. Life is alive right here, right now, full of possibilities. Build your future with intention. Choose thoughts that uplift, actions that create, and loves that set you free. You are an eternal soul on an extraordinary journey. And even if you sometimes forget, there are thousands of beings of light, guides, and soul companions cheering you on at every turn. So the next time doubt or fear tries to stop you, remember, your soul already knows the way. All you have to do is trust and move forward.
If you're ready to unlock even deeper truths about the universe, click on the next video. Your journey is just beginning.